subscribe, like, comment, because once you step inside the story, there's no clean way out, and the truth doesn't stop at the prison gates. The sirens cut through the desert night, like a warning that came too late. Red and blue lights bounced off razor wire and concrete walls as correctional officers sprinted across the yard of Blackridge Penitentiary, one of the most fortified prisons in the western United States. In the shadow of a guard tower, an inmate lay face down on the cold ground, arms twisted at an unnatural angle. His orange jumpsuit was darkened by blood, pooling beneath him in silence. He wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to be dead. The official report would later call it an inmate-on-inmate altercation. But those who worked inside Blackridge knew better. This wasn't chaos. This was order. Detective Marcus Hale arrived before dawn, the air still thick with the smell of dust and diesel. He'd worked homicides for 17 years, long enough to know when a crime scene was lying to him. The prison yard looked calm now, almost peaceful, but Hale could feel it, the tension vibrating beneath the surface, like the ground before an earthquake. The dead man was identified as Daniel Cruz, 34, serving a 7-year sentence for armed robbery. No known enemies. No disciplinary issues. According to his file, he'd kept his head down. That alone made his death suspicious. Warden Evelyn Price met Hale near the perimeter fence. She was composed, professional, but her eyes betrayed exhaustion. "This place runs on routine," she said quietly. "When routine breaks, someone's pulling strings." Hale followed her inside, past metal detectors and steel doors that slammed shut with finality. Inmates lined the corridors, watching silently. No shouts, no taunts, just eyes, calculating, waiting. In cell block D, Cruz's bunk sat stripped bare. His mattress had been sliced open, stuffing spilling out like exposed nerves. On the concrete floor, Hale spotted a crude symbol scratched into the surface. It was small, almost easy to miss. 3 intersecting lines, carved deep and deliberate. Who saw him last? Hale asked. Price hesitated. That's the problem. Everyone did, and no one did. Inside Blackridge, alliances mattered more than sentences. Gangs weren't just groups. They were governments. They decided who ate, who worked, who lived long enough to see parole. Guards enforced the rules of prison. Gangs enforced everything else. Hale requested surveillance footage. What he got was useless. Cameras near the yard had gone dark for exactly 6 minutes during the estimated time of death. A technical malfunction, according to maintenance. Hale didn't believe in coincidences that precise. As the morning wore on, whispers spread to the facility. Lockdowns tightened. Tension climbed. Inmates refused meals. Guards kept their hands close to their batons. Something was coming. By afternoon, Hale met with Lena Brooks, a young correctional officer who'd been on duty that night. Her hands shook as she spoke. Cruz asked for a transfer, she said. 2 days ago. He said he was in trouble. Real trouble. From who? Hale asked. Brooks swallowed. He didn't say. Just that he'd seen something he wasn't supposed to. That changed everything. Hale dug deeper into Cruz's recent activity. Phone logs, visitor records, commissary purchases. One detail stood out. Cruz had stopped buying protection. No extra food. No favors exchanged. In prison. That was a death wish unless you believed you didn't need protection anymore. Or unless you thought you were untouchable. Late that night, Hale sat alone in the security office, replaying footage from another camera, one that overlooked a service corridor near the yard. At 2:14 a.m., a group of inmates passed through, faces obscured, moving with purpose. At the center of them was Cruz. He wasn't struggling. He was walking willingly, following orders. Hale froze the frame. One of the men turned slightly, revealing a tattoo on his neck. The same 3 intersecting lines carved into Cruz's cell floor. Price stood behind him, her voice barely above a whisper. That mark doesn't belong to one gang. Hale turned. What do you mean? She hesitated, then spoke. It's older than the gangs. It's a signal. It means the inside world has decided. The next morning, Hale received an anonymous note slipped under his hotel door. No return address. Just a single sentence, written in block letters. Stop digging. The prison watches back. Attached was a photocopy of a floor plan. Blackridge's underground level. A section not listed on any official blueprint. Hale stared at the map, his pulse pounding. If the gangs controlled the inside world, this was where they ruled without witnesses. And when they unlocked the sealed door beneath cell block D, what they found waiting in the dark would expose a system far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The door beneath cell block D hadn't been open in years. Officially, it didn't exist. Unofficially, everyone who'd worked at Blackridge long enough knew better. Detective Marcus Hale stood the threshold as the final lock disengaged, the metal groaning like it resented being disturbed. A stale breath of air rushed out, heavy with rust, damp concrete, and something else, something human that had lingered too long in the dark. Warden Evelyn Price ordered 2 guards forward. Their flashlights cut thin beams into the stairwell, revealing steps worn smooth by countless feet. Not inmates on work detail. These were steps used with purpose. Hale descended first. The walls were carved with the same 3 intersecting lines he'd seen in Cruz's cell, repeated again and again like a silent chant. Halfway down, the temperature dropped. The noise of the prison above faded, until all Hale could hear was his own breathing. The room at the bottom wasn't large, but it was organized. Too organized. Folding tables lined the walls. A hand-drawn schedule was taped to one surface, listing times, names, and cell blocks. Currency sat stacked in neat piles, not cash, but commissary items used as payment inside. Cigarettes, protein bars, painkillers, power. This is a court, Hale said quietly, not a hideout. Price nodded grimly. They settle disputes here, decide punishments, decide who disappears. In the far corner, Hale spotted something that made his stomach tighten. A crude ledger. Names filled the pages, some crossed out, others circled. Daniel Cruz's name was there, circled in red. Before Hale could process it, shouting echoed from above. Boots thundered down the stairs as a guard rushed in, pale-faced. Detective, Officer Brooks is missing. Lena Brooks, the young guard who'd told Hale about Cruz's fear. They found her radio smashed near the laundry wing. No blood, no signs of struggle, just absence. In Blackridge, that was worse. The prison went into full lockdown. Cells slammed shut. Movement stopped. But the silence felt staged, like an audience waiting for a performance to begin. Hale knew Brooks hadn't been taken randomly. She'd talked. She'd become a liability. As night fell, Hale reviewed footage again, hunting for anything he'd missed. At 11:42 p.m., a maintenance cart rolled through a restricted corridor. No guard escort. That alone was suspicious. When Hale zoomed in, he caught a glimpse of a tattooed hand gripping the cart's edge. 3 intersecting lines. Someone helped them, Hale said aloud. Price didn't argue. They always do. Pressure mounted from outside. The state wanted answers. The prison board wanted silence. Hale wanted Brooks alive. He pushed harder, questioning inmates who claimed they'd seen nothing, knew nothing. But fear hung over every interview. Eyes darted to cameras. Voices dropped to whispers. Finally, an inmate named Raymond Brooks Keller asked to speak. Keller was older, serving life, respected because he stayed neutral. Hale met him in an interview room, glass between them. "You don't understand how this place works," Keller said calmly. "You think gangs fight each other. They don't. They negotiate, like nations." "Then who killed Cruz?" Hale asked. Keller leaned closer. Cruz broke the one rule that matters. He saw the inside council. Hale's chest tightened. Council? Keller nodded. One representative from every major crew. They run things together. Drugs, protection, even staff placements. Cruz stumbled into a meeting during kitchen duty. Instead of killing him right away, they tested him. Loyalty, silence, and Hale pressed. He thought he could trade what he knew, Keller said. Protection for information. He was wrong. What about Officer Brooks? Hale asked. Keller's expression changed. Fear flickered across his eyes. If she's still alive, it's because they want something. That something became clear the next morning. Hale received another note, this one delivered openly, placed on his desk inside the prison administration office. No one admitted to bringing it in. Lee Blackridge. The guard goes free. Stay, and the inside world expands. Attached was a flash drive. Against protocol, Hale plugged it into a secure laptop. The video that loaded made his blood run cold. Brooks sat bound to a chair in a dim room, eyes wide but defiant. Behind her, the familiar carved symbol filled the wall. A voice spoke from off-camera, calm and controlled. Detective Hale believes in justice. We believe in balance. Daniel Cruz disrupted that balance. Officer Brooks disrupted it further. The camera moved closer to Brooks's face. You have 24 hours. The screen went black. Price watched from behind Hale, her voice barely steady. If this gets out, they already know that, Hale said. His mind raced. 24 hours wasn't a deadline. It was a challenge. He studied the video frame by frame. In the reflection of Brooks's eyes, something glinted, metal bars curved. Not a cell, a cage. Hale cross-referenced maintenance layouts, old blueprints, forgotten storage areas. One location matched perfectly, an unused utilities chamber near the original foundation of the prison. As he prepared a covert team, another alert came in. A fire alarm triggered in cell block A. Smoke filled the cameras. Chaos erupted. A distraction. Hale sprinted for the utilities wing, heart pounding, knowing he was exactly where the inside world wanted him to be, and that whatever waited at the end of that corridor would force him to choose between exposing the truth and surviving it. The utilities corridor felt narrower than it should have, the concrete walls pressing in as Detective Marcus Hale moved fast and silent. The fire alarm still wailed somewhere distant, a manufactured panic designed to scatter guards and thin supervision. Whoever ran the inside world understood timing better than any criminal Hale had ever chased on the outside. The door to the old utilities chamber was padlocked, but the lock was new. That alone told Hale everything. He cut through it forcefully and stepped inside. Officer Lena Brooks was there. She sat inside a welded metal cage, wrists zip-tied, face bruised but defiant. Her eyes snapped toward Hale, wide with disbelief and relief that almost broke him. "Don't," she whispered urgently. "They're watching." A slow clap echoed from the shadows. 5 men emerged, calm, unhurried. No masks, no panic. They didn't need either. Each wore the same 3 intersecting line tattoo, some faded, some freshly inked. Different races, different sentences. One organization. The man in front stepped forward. Tall, gray at the temples, eyes sharp intelligence rather than rage. He smiled like a politician. "Detective Hale," he said, "you made the correct move. Alone." Hale positioned himself between Brooks and the man. "This ends now." The man chuckled softly. "It doesn't end. It transfers." He gestured, and one of the others rolled out a chair. Calm, professional, like a board meeting. "You've been chasing gangs," the man continued. "Colors, territories, violence. That's television. This is governance. When Blackridge was chaos, bodies stacked up, riots, lawsuits. We stopped that. You murdered Cruz." Hale shot back. He was unstable. The man replied without emotion. He saw something he wasn't meant to and tried to sell it. That creates disorder. Hale realized then that this wasn't a gang leader. This was a chairman. "You control drugs, protection, even guards," Hale said. "You're running a criminal state." The man nodded, unfazed. "And the state lets us. Quiet prisons look good on reports. Low violence numbers keep funding steady. We provide results." Brooks found her voice. "You kidnapped me." The man turned to her gently. "You listen when you shouldn't have. But you're not our enemy." Hale felt the trap closing. "You think this ends with a deal?" "No," the man said. "It ends with understanding." He slid a phone across the floor. On the screen, surveillance footage. Hale's apartment. His sister leaving for work that morning. A live feed. We remove obstacles, the man said calmly. Or we absorb them. Silence swallowed the room. Hale's mind raced. Arrests wouldn't hold. Evidence would vanish. Witnesses would disappear. This wasn't one prison. It was a template. And Blackridge wasn't the beginning. What do you want? Hale asked. The chairman smiled. You walk away. You file a report blaming Cruz's death on inter-gang conflict. Brooks is released. You keep your career. Your family stays safe. And if I don't? Hale asked. The man's smile faded. Then the inside world expands. Hale looked at Brooks. Her eyes begged him not to sacrifice everything, not to be another name crossed out in a ledger. He made his decision. I agree, Hale said quietly. The men stepped back. One unlocked the cage. Brooks collapsed forward, gasping as Hale caught her. The chairman nodded approvingly. Smart choice, he said. Justice doesn't survive here. Balance does. They disappeared into the shadows as silently as they'd arrived. 3 months later, Blackridge Prison reported its lowest violence rate in a decade. Hale's report was accepted without question. Officer Brooks transferred facilities. The case of Daniel Cruz was officially closed. Life moved on, until the body was found. An inmate named Raymond Keller, Books, was discovered dead in a storage room during morning count. No signs of struggle, no witnesses, but carved into the concrete wall, behind him were 3 intersecting lines. This time, the symbol was different. One line was broken. Hale stood outside the crime scene, staring at the mark, a chill creeping up his spine. His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Balance has shifted. We need you again. Hale looked up at the prison walls, higher than ever, realizing the truth too late. He hadn't escaped the inside world. He'd been recruited, and somewhere deep within Blackridge, a new council meeting was already beginning. If you think this story was intense, you're not ready for the next one. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens when the system fights back.